In February this year, the CWU submitted a claim on behalf of its new grid members for a 5% increase on current salaries to flow through to all allowances and the pay and pension supplement. After pay negotiations with BT reached a critical stage, the company tabled a final offer of 2% and two non-consolidated, non-pensionable £250 payments, the second of which is dependent on meeting as yet undisclosed end-of-year targets. However, the Telecom executive deemed this offer to be wholly inadequate and as a result feel the union has no alternative than to issue a ballot to its members for industrial action, because you're worth more. I've come to CWU headquarters in Wimbledon to find out more about the dispute and why the union feels industrial action must be taken. I'm meeting Andy Kerr, Deputy General Secretary Telecoms. Hello Andy, nice to see you.
Andrew.
Thanks for your time today.
No problem.
Tell me about the background to this pay dispute and the discussions that you've been part of.
Well, it's really about pay, this year's pay review, which takes place. And it's against the background last year of people been having an unconsolidated pay rise. And obviously we're looking for a consolidated pensionable pay rise this year, and BT have been actually pretty stuck in that. We've had many meetings now over the last few months. BT have now gave us what they've called the final offer, and it just doesn't meet our requirements at all.
And you've been talking to BT, as you say, for the past 7-8 weeks. You've had all of these meetings with them. Would you say that you've been sort of working with them, and you certainly have in the past, you know, in these economically difficult times?
Yeah, I think I defy anybody to show a union who hasn't worked closer with a company to go through a major change over the last 18 months. No other union has worked with any company in Britain to do this, and we're proud of that, working with the company, because obviously the company being successful means security for our members, and that's what we want. But now it's a kick in the teeth basically for our members. After doing all they've done over the last years, BT making the savings they've made, and much more savings to come, and that's the real issue. More savings to come for the company on the back of our members' changes to terms and conditions, and still they won't give them a decent pay rise.
So basically we're looking at BT having a good year. So far they've had a very good year. The indications are that their year is going to be even better.
Absolutely.
And you're saying, come on, you need to be generous. It's been going well for you, now spread that.
Well, that's it. Last year, the position was, no fault of our members, but by senior management of the company, messed up in global services. The company was in a bad way last year. We accepted that. Inflation was minus last year, and we accepted that issue. So therefore, we didn't, go for a percentage pay rise in that point. But this year's different. Inflation's now up, the company is growing, revenues are coming in. The company's looks as though it's going to be forecast to make when the free cash flow is going to be 1.7 billion. We're looking for 65 million of that. I don't think it's too much to ask.
Now, BT do think it's too much to ask.
Obviously.
What have they offered you? What have they offered the members?
Well, they've offered us this is the issue, it started off with 2% non-consolidated, non-pensional, and I keep going back to that, it's really important. We've now, after months of discussion with them, got them to 2% pay rise, plus a bonus of £250 in December, and possibly a bonus of equally £250 to be paid sometime next year, possibly April, possibly May, based on a target that nobody knows. And
You're not signing up to that?
Well, I don't think anybody's going to sign up to that. I mean, it's actually based on a target that can't be revealed. Now, how is anybody going to do a pay deal, sign up to something they don't actually know what they're targeted against? Andy,
you've been doing pay negotiations with BT for the past 13 years. You're very experienced in pay negotiations with this company. How does this set of meetings that you've had measure against all the experience of the last few years? Is it different?
I've never been in a set of negotiations like this ever in my life with this company or any other company on pay. It's completely surreal, the discussions we've been having. Every argument that they've put up to us, we've argued against. We've defeated their arguments, and certainly in our opinion we've defeated their arguments, but still they won't move. There's a total intransigence to the company on this issue.
Why do you think that is?
Well, I don't think we really know the answer to that, but it's coming from the very senior executives in the company, and I think it's, I really think it's the main board of the company who's driving this line. This is a position where we're beginning to think as a union they'll want to take us on. and defeat us as a union. Well, I'm sorry, that's not going to happen, and we're quite clear about that. Our members are loyal to this company, have put their lives into it, some people 30, 40 years into it. They deserve a pay rise this year. We think we've got all the arguments, and we are absolutely clear that our members will support us in this action.
So the next stage, and the National Executive has decided to reject the offer. You've written to your members explaining why.
Yeah.
What's the next step?
Well, next step, we're in the process at the moment. They're running some branch meetings and meetings around the country. We've already had about 20 of those taking place. We've got another 30 to 40 taking place over the next couple of weeks, going out and explaining to our members exactly what the situation is, because there is a fear out there for some of our people, you know, on their jobs and this job security, and we understand that. We didn't take this decision lightly. I hasten to add that. We've told the company this, and actually I've even told the company in the letter I sent them last week that I'm still willing to meet them. I'm still waiting for a reply for that letter, and that shows you, you know, what the company's like at this point in time. We will have a consultation with our members, and when we decide it's right, and I stress when we decide it's right, we'll be telling the company we'll be balloting for industrial action.
And do you think that's the only way forward?
Unfortunately, I think at this point in time, yes, it is. I say we have never been in this position before with this company, and we don't understand why it is, and that's why we're clear it must be coming from the very top of the company. This isn't the directors of some of the lines of the business. This is from the main board, and if the companies want to take us on, well, I'm sorry, we'll have to fight. We don't have any option but to do that. It's unfortunate, but we don't have any option.
Oh, you certainly sound surprised. You must be disappointed as well.
I'm very disappointed, because we've always been in a position where we've always managed to get through any negotiations. We've carried out many negotiations over the years with this company, and they've been very hard, some of them, but we've always managed to find solutions. This time, the company are not willing to move. They're not willing to listen to our arguments, and you know, our people are making a real cut in pay. You know, the inflation is where it is. It's 4.4% now. You know, we were looking at the background of 3.7. Had he done a deal with us last month, you know, we might have been in a different position. Inflation has now went up to 4.4. You know, an increase of 2% is well below that, and it's a pay cut in real terms. There's no other way of putting it.
And we're looking at a company that in its first 9 months of the year made 1.6 billion. That's a lot of savings, isn't it?
I think people have to understand what we've done over the last few years. We did a deal on pensions that saved this company £1.5 billion over a period of time. It's also made clear that they had less contributions to pay, so that's a saving to the company. They've made £1.6 billion savings this year already, 3 months to go. There's more savings to come under the attendance patterns we've done in Open Reach and in other areas. There's more savings to come. So there's another billions of pounds of savings to come. So this company has made, you know, billions of pounds of savings on the back of some of it in the back of their terms and conditions and on agreements we have made with them, quite rightly made with them for job security. But then we get kicked in the teeth, basically.
Remind me your view on if you were to accept an offer like this of 2%. What does that mean for your members and their standard of living?
Well, I think it's a real cut in real terms for standards, and it's not just about a real cut now. You know, the issue about pensions is very, very serious for our people, and that accounts something down the line, whether it's 15 years away or 10 years away or whatever that pension is. The way the care scheme works, this new pension scheme, and certainly for the BTPS, and people will know what that means, this has a real effect, because it's a compound effect on that over the years. So if you get a below inflation pay rise this year, it has an effect for years to come. So it's not just about money now, this is about money on their pension, the potential they're going to lose out.
Yeah, the big picture.
It's the big picture, and the people have to understand it. I think our members understand it. It's quite clear as I don't think, you know, people in BT understand it, and I don't think they care, and I think that's really worrying.
So where do you think you go from here?
Well, let's say we'll be having these meetings around the country. I think we've got to get the message across to our members. I think they've already got it, but I think we need to emphasise the message. You know, this is about their contribution that they've made over the last period of time to this company. It's about the company's ability to pay, and they can pay. We know they're going to make in excess of £1.7 billion this year, and it's about the cost of living, 4.4%, and we're sitting at inflation at the moment. So that's the sort of real message we've got to get across, that we are fighting for the members, and we need to get this rise this year, and we're appealing to our members. We don't easily take these decisions to industrial action. Haven't done it for a long number of years, but this time we're serious about this. Our people are worth it. That's the problem here. They're really worth more than what BT's offering. 2% isn't good enough, and it's as simple as that. Our people are worth a lot more than that.
Andy, thank you.
Thank you, Emma.